Hello, and welcome to the Healing Dreams Project, exploring projective dreamwork for your health and wholeness with hosts Billy Ortiz and Dr. Royce Fitz. I'm the producer, Viviana, and today we are going to explore remembering and not remembering dreams, how we can improve this, the ones that slip away. Let's just dive in. Royce, what is your experience with this? And
I I have a lot of experience of not remembering dreams. I'm a pro, and I what I notice sometimes when I've had conversations with others that sometimes there's this element of frustration that a person has, and they'll say, and I certainly have said this, I know I dreamed so much. I woke up and everything is gone. And just before I woke up, there was some major thing going on. And it's like it just, dissipates. It flitters away into the wind, dust in the wind, dust in the wind. And so uh, I think all of us have these experiences, and then I believe that our kind of ego self or our critic inside of us begins to judge us and say, shame on you, or why can't you remember the dreams? And you're a dreamer, you love the exploration, and look at that. And so I think there's this judgmental energy that creeps in. And in my opinion, I think that judgmental energy actually helps us, gets in our way and actually stops us from remembering dreams too. So we have this internal difficult conversation inside of us all the time.
Mm. Yeah, I mean, I think that's exactly how I feel, Royce. I'm an expert at not remembering my dreams. Sometimes there's times when I just go through what I call a dream drought, where I just cannot remember anything. And I think it is important to go easy on ourselves and just say, I wasn't able to remember dreams this week or this couple of weeks or month, whatever it might be. Life gets in the way sometimes. And I don't think we should be so judgmental towards ourselves about it. I think we can capture a dream when we do and think, wow, how wonderful. Um, the paradoxically, the piece that I always mention to people is when they say, how do you recommend that I remember my dreams? And I often say, join a dream group. Because
yes.
the minute we, I know, it's so interesting how that works.
Well, the minute I joined your dream group is when I finally started really remembering my dreams. They're now coming longer. I'm focused on trying to remember it. And the minute I wake up, I'm like, okay, what was it?
Right, right. And because it's like we have a place for it to go. See, it's like if I don't even if I don't have a dream group, necessarily a formal dream group to go to, I often say to people, well, just make an appointment with a friend and say, how about on Wednesdays we get together and have coffee and we'll talk about our dreams. And the minute that I make that appointment, there'll be some little hint that goes into the unconscious about, oh, this is important, I need to remember. And so that then there's a place for it to go. That's an important part. The other thing is, I often tell people, you just have to have a method that fits for you. Some people there's often these, now there's a lot of apps and things that you can get for your iPhone or your Samsung or whatever. You can uh, talk your dreams in, record it. They also have ways that they can catalog the dreams for you. There's some people like to sketch and draw rather than write out a long narrative. um, you know Maybe have crayons with your sketch pad or whatever. Be playful and have fun with it. You don't have to have any kind of rigid method. It's just as long as you have the materials available and you give yourself time in the morning and you don't immediately start jumping into your day. Like, try to set the alarm a little early or whatever, and give yourself an extra 15-20 minutes and stay in the same position when you wake up. This is another big one. um, instead of getting up and stretching and moving right away, if we stay in the position we wake up in, that body memory, the cellular memory helps us remember the dream as well.
Also, you always stress the importance of remembering the dream in the present tense as if it's still happening. That also helps
Mm.
keep it more present as well.
Yeah, it
But
keeps it alive. Yeah.
oh, it keeps it alive. Yeah. Well, I find that it also helps me retain it, or I remember the unfoldment of it. But for me, I mean, I've always written down dreams like my whole life, but
Mm.
it wasn't until I joined my physical dream group a few years ago that I made the intention before falling asleep. Okay, in the morning, I'm going to remember all my dreams. And really, with that intention, then there's more likelihood of retaining something,
Yeah, that's
at
good.
least for me.
So I want to underline that, Viviana, from my experience. It's the intention,
Hmm.
the blessing oneself, the invitation to oneself, and to whomever the dream maker is, all of us,
Yeah.
uh, to make a conscious request and intention to invite the remembrance of dreams. Uh, and and as we do that with all the conscientiousness that we can muster, we won't remember all the dreams.
Yes.
And so when we don't, the other question is, how do we give ourselves grace to
Mm.
not judge that? It's okay to feel regretful and disappointed. And however, if we are kind of harsh and judgmental about it, rebuking ourselves, that's actually going to work in the opposite way. So to notice that I don't remember my dreams, and to be disappointed and to be regretful, because in I felt like it was a powerful experience, and the dream trusts me. I need to trust the dream. The
Yeah.
dream will reappear in some form. All is not lost. Our friend Jeremy Taylor would always remind us that it's like a web. They all are linked. And when we do dream work, it doesn't matter which dream we choose. We may have more emotional attachment to one than the other, and yet they all are a part of our dream world, and they're all there for our health, healing, and wholeness. And they just will take a different, perhaps more circuitous route
Mm.
to get there. I wanted to say on my website, Billy, I know you have ways to remember dreams. When I was assigned in Cheyenne at the Air Force Base, up in one of the big city parks, there is this magnificent dream catcher sculpture. It's huge. It's got to be 10 or 15 feet wide and tall, and I took a picture of it, so I have that on the website of this beautiful, majestic dream catcher with the clouds floating behind it, and you know the the frustration of not remembering dreams has to go back, centuries and centuries and centuries, because the dream catcher is an ancient symbol of uh, of, of indigenous uh, relatives who were encouraging all of their clans and tribes to remember dreams.
Oh, that's great. How beautiful. I got to look at that on your website, Royce. That sounds, I haven't seen that, so that sounds amazing. Um, it's there's another thing about it, and I love what you said about the web and how the dreams are just sort of, they're all linked in their own way. And I've noticed that every time I have a dream group, the first dream that's shared often has symbols that will echo in the second dream. And it's like, I don't know how the dreams do this, but it's ever since I've worked with dreams, all, going on 25 plus years now, is that I've seen that happen. So there is this collective unconscious piece. So even if I'm someone that doesn't remember my dreams, I can go to a dream group and listen to other dreams that'll help stimulate my own recall. But also I can participate, especially doing it in the projective method, the way we do it. It really does become my dream. So I, Billy, have had, a tremendous joy of being able to listen to so many dreams for so many years, and I feel fulfilled, um, even if I don't remember my own dreams. Sometimes it's because I think, oh, I got a lot out of that dream. I really, that really resonated for me. And also I tell people when they say I can't remember my dreams, I wish I could work with you, I can't remember my dreams, I say, why don't you work on the last dream you remember, even if it was years ago, because dreams don't have expiration dates, so it's like I've seen people bring a dream from 10 years ago, 20 years ago, and it still resonates for them, and somehow opening that door to that dream and looking at it deeper often will help the current recall to come back as well.
Well, you even mentioned, Bailey, that when we can't remember a dream, it's because something like we're not ready to learn from it yet, or something like that to that effect.
It's possible that I'm not ready for the information that's in that dream. It could be that, um, because I truly believe the dreams that we do remember, I'm ready for that information. I'm ready for it. I'm ready. I'm My consciousness has evolved enough to be able to receive these metaphors and symbols, and make the changes in or adjustments in my life, whatever it might be, that the dream might be calling me to look at. So there's some kind of part there about maybe those forgotten dreams, maybe those dreams that I don't remember. I'm still forming, things are still forming, and they haven't yet become, as Jeremy Taylor used to often say, speech ripe. Something hasn't become speech ripe yet. I haven't been able to actually, I can't describe what's in the dream. I can't just, the symbols, and it just all seems jumbled to me as the dreamer until I'm able to make it speech ripe. So there's that layer too. It's like, am I ready for the dream?
Yeah, I love that. The question of readiness and the waking self, or simplistically, the ego self, may not be ready. And so, because our waking self is very powerful, it can, seal the doors shut,
Yeah.
because it's frightening. It's full. It causes anxiety. And in my projection, when I don't remember a dream for those reasons, my anxiety is flooding the system. My limbic system is because the dream has an invitation to change myself
Yeah.
in ways that I am perhaps afraid to, terrified of, or there is new insight that the waking self, I just am not ready for it. So I'm going to, my waking self, I'm going to slam the door shut. Now, can we notice that and not shame ourselves because, if we're not ready, we're not ready. And the dream, again, is so patient. The dream will come back, or some manner of that dream will re-emerge, and keeps nurturing and challenging the waking self so that readiness can occur.
Mhm.
I also believe it's not just because we're not ready that we don't remember dreams. I do think I do validate that a lot of times. And other times, I think there is the mystery of we just don't remember the dream. Billy, you said you go through dream droughts. I do too. Viviana, you have your stories about that. And
Hmm.
I know that sometimes if I'm not sleeping well and I use some kind of medicine to
Mhm.
help me sleep, that affects my remembrance of dreams.
Sure.
Even though I know I'll be dreaming, I do know in some medical situations that some medicine and or medical conditions actually stop people from dreaming. And if that goes on for very long, it is truly spiritually and emotionally and physically unhealthy. So we need to hold that awareness up as well. if we can also, though, Billy, you talked about waking up and noticing and maybe not moving, and at least journal the feeling of what, if it's my dream, what I'm feeling, or the tone that may be there when I wake up. That's going to honor what the dream aspect of myself is trying to help emerge.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I think that's very important to, like I said, it doesn't necessarily have to be a long narrative, like it's, a story or a report. It can just be a few words. It can, like I said, a sketch or whatever. It can
That
be,
reminds me of the I just had one sentence, and it was
Mm.
my aunt,
yeah.
my aunt when I couldn't hear her in my dream, and she was just saying, whispering. I mean, I could read her lips, and she said, "B for blue, Y for yellow," and that's all I remembered. And I woke up and I was like, B for blue, Y for yellow, what Ukrainian flag, the ocean and the
Right.
sun. I could, and then it was while I was working the dream with Billy that it came to me. I was like, "Whoa, bye, B-Y." She was saying goodbye to me, and
Oh,
subsequently, she
wow.
ended up passing, like 2 or 3 weeks later.
Yeah, it was very soon after. I do remember you sharing that. Wow. See, that's
Yeah,
an example. I mean, there are sometimes there are very short dreams that people remember. I work those often, 2 or 3 sentence dreams. And people go, well, I don't know. That I don't think this is going to be much of anything, but we can go 30, 40 minutes working on it because sometimes a lot of things unfold. They're more tightly packed and
Mm.
oh,
more
absolutely.
information in
I I almost tend to like those fragments when we work at dreams in the group. They're just so rich. There's so much that can be unpacked there.
there. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And you're pointing that out, that a short dream can be so loving and powerful and insightful. And we tend to want to have the big long drama of a dream, and
Yeah.
then we can say, wow, I had this amazing dream, and I did.
Yeah.
But a dream about looking at my aunt and having her mouth the words, and
Mm,
at and is there so many levels of what something like that means.
It's profound, man.
Yeah, yeah, is profound. Yeah.
wow.
And it reminds me also how time doesn't matter in dreams. That one way I describe it is that time kind of folds in on itself in dreams, that the past is the present, is the future, is the past, is the whatever, all of those things fold in on. And so if I dream of my aunt mouthing those words, and a few weeks later or so she dies, passes away, it's almost like, wow, she was out there doing that before
Mm,
I was there,
mm,
consciously knowing that she's dying.
Well,
She
as a
was.
result of the dream, I ended up. She's in Chile. She was in Chile,
Hmm.
so I called her and I was able. She was very weak,
mm.
but I could tell her I love you, and she said the same thing back to me, and it just meant the world
Oh,
because
Oh,
oh,
I
wow.
knew
Hmm.
on some level that was going to be the last time. So
wow.
because she had come to me in the dream.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah, what a gift. And what a gift to her that you responded.
Mm.
That's the
Yeah.
circular part. It's not just for you. This dream was for her as well.
Oh, beautiful story. That gives you an example. One sentence dream can mean all that.
Mhm.
So yeah, that's it. And I like what you're saying too, Royce, about not being so judgmental on ourselves if we can't remember. We don't, sometimes we just don't. There's other things that happen in our lives and other obstructions come up and we're not able to remember. But when we do, we have our own method of recording it and then honor it as best we can. And like I said, joining the dream group really helps because then you can at least hear other dreams and then some message is received that this is important to remember.
Yeah, I love that you bring that up because every other dream that I hear serves collectively on some level. It impacts me, and I feel like I benefit from the lessons that are learned
Yeah.
within the group. It's really beautiful that way.
Yeah.
It is beautiful, and uh, it brings out our innate connection with each other. That indeed Viviana's dream about her aunt is my dream
Mm.
as well, and I may have a different uh, perspective, and that's okay. That is my dream, and so for us to have this beautiful gift of, if I can't remember my own dream, I can be with others who
Mm.
do.
Mm-hmm.
And their dream is as valuable to me as it is to them. And that does kind of prime the pump for me,
Mm.
if I'm a chronic not remembering my dream guy. It primes the pump, and it teaches community as well. This is one of the main reasons I so love and am passionate about projective dream work, is that we do share our dreams in body and soul.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's that universal language that we were talking about in another episode. It's that universal language that speaks to the heart for all of us. So to be in community, in a group, whatever size it is, even if it's just one other friend, that's still in my world, that is like a dream group to share. But yes, it speaks to all of us in a way that that's that metaphor language. It goes beyond the literal.
Join each other's story.
Yeah, that's it.
This brings to a question I have for both of you. How might one start a dream group of their own?
Oh, good question. Well, a couple of different things. I would, if you want to get some practice, I would start small with some friends that I know well, like, maybe 4 people, 5 people, something like that. And
Or one.
or just, yeah, right, exactly. Like I said, just a friend. Yeah, just one friend, and that would be great. But to start, to come up with a time that everybody can meet, of course. Um, I like to do pulling the names from a bowl to see whose dream has worked next. If you have a closed group, you can have a certain length of time that you're going to be meeting. You can say, okay, next week we're going to work on Nancy's dream, and the week after that we're going to work on Shirley's dream. And you can do it that way if you have a closed group. Um, and it's a lot of it has to do with how you talk about the dreams too, and that's why Royce and I work so hard to teach people how to use the projective language, because keeping it in the if it were my dream, or in my imagined version of this dream, helps to keep the work safe, because the projections will start flying. And if everybody starts saying, well, I think your dream means you have a problem with your husband and you need to leave your husband, that kind of stuff, then it's not going to help anybody. So the way the language is phrased is so very important. Um, you know, to try to keep it in the eye as much as. And so I think, to answer your question, I think it helps to have a moderator, a facilitator. I've been in groups where there is no moderator, and the time gets all, nobody gets equal time, and it gets kind of messy. And so you need to have somebody that's willing to look at the clock, make to see, to have the agreements of, equal time for people to share. And if you just go from there. It's like, decide on the day that works for everybody. Try to keep the language always in the if it were my dream, or in my imagined version, to avoid those projections really harming and hurting people's feelings. And then decide on how long you want to spend on each dream. And also, somebody's got to watch the clock. That's really important.
I have a group that there are four of us that meet in person here in California, and we just kind of go very organically. We just each have a dream, bring a dream,
Mm.
and then do the projective dream work on it if it were my dream.
Mm.
And I love but we only meet once a month, and so that's why I just Google searched DreamWork and I came up with Billy.
Yeah. Great.
And I love your telecasts or Zoom calls that can hold space for more people because some of your groups have, I mean, I've been in groups with what, 6, 7, 8 or something, and because you draw the name, it allows for two people within the 2 hours to and everybody gets to share. So I'm just explaining the how I've encountered dream groups, and anyway, I can't express enough how helpful and wonderful this sharing is.
Well, thank you so much. And you're right. The dreams, the whatever dream group that you have, it can be it can be whatever method you wish. If everybody wants to come and share a snippet of a dream each time, great. You know, and as long as somebody, I just I don't like to use the word that somebody's the leader, but if somebody's the moderator or facilitator that's able to make sure that everybody, to remind them of the language, and to also to make, just the equal time piece. But thank you. I'm glad that you've enjoyed that. I'm glad you found me. Let's put it that way. How great. Thank you.
Um, the way that you're describing having a dream group of 2 or 3 or 4 people as a way to begin and having a moderator. Sometimes, again, in projective dream work, we use the guidelines and we try not to be rigid about how those guidelines are expressed. And the moderator could change from week to week or whatever, however often a person, a group gets together. However, it's really good to have, a way that everyone can understand how to use the projective format. And I forget which episode that we made a podcast early in our lives here, in which we talk about the I can't remember the name of it.
DreamWorks Toolkit.
Yeah, the dream. Yeah,
I think it's the second episode.
Yeah, second episode, and I think we, the listeners and we ourselves need to keep referring back to that episode, to that toolkit. It's such a gentle and supportive way of sharing dreams that we don't get stuck into analyzing each other and fearing like, if I share this dream, some juicy sexual dream, I'm going to be somehow exposed. And when everyone borrows the dream and they speak about it in their imagination, they're sharing their story, not mine. Now, I may resonate with what they're saying, and that also protects me from just being humiliated and or exposed in ways that I may not feel ready to expose. And what I love about this too is it puts it invites everyone, no matter one's educational background or profession. It puts us all on the same level. And so we approach this as concerned, compassionate humans. It doesn't matter our degree. And we all have amazing wisdom when we borrow the other's dream.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. That's it. Borrow it. That's nice.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
so we were talking about some tips, other tips about remembering dreams.
Sure.
Yeah. And so I encourage people, and we've already touched on this, I encourage people to give themselves 30 seconds or a minute before they go to sleep to invite themselves and invite the remembrance of dreams, and to make a gentle commitment to oneself, perhaps by keeping a notepad or using their phone to jot something down, that as soon as one awakens, that they notice the feelings that they have, although feelings are not the primary purpose of the dream, and yet it helps because they often serve to remind us that we've had the dream. And also the colors, or the sense of tone that we have. And like the other morning, I had this silly dream about 2 or 3 cats playing on a table. It's like, that's all I remember. And it's so tempting to just dismiss that kind of dream.
Yeah.
Because, well, it's not important, it's not significant. And it was a flash of memory. And those are the things that help us prime the dream pump so that it will flourish and flow more easily. So that's one of the tips I encourage people to do.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, and I also tell people that if you don't have the time to write it all down in the morning, to kind of just make some notes, that always helps. To make a little bit of an outline, maybe just 5 or 6 points of things that I remember from the dream, and then later, like when you have your coffee break or whatever, make more detailed notes when it's still in your memory, but to try to record whatever you can. If you feel like you're gonna lose, because it will disappear. They tend to, they're like trying to hold sand in your hand. It just goes right through your fingers, and you're like, oh no, I know that I was having this wonderful dream, and it just dissipates out. So to keep that in mind, that the chances are I won't remember it past, getting out of bed and driving to work and all that. So try to make some notes, and I mean, I always am coaching people about, just get a voice recorder. It just makes it so much easier. That's one of the easiest ways. I mean, you could be driving in your car to work, and your voice recorder sitting on the dashboard, and you can, or wherever, and you could just talk your dream. So don't hesitate doing that. That's always a good one to get it down. But get it down in whatever way works for you. And then later you can, draw out the journal, put it in your beautiful journal or whatever you wish to do. But, to just grab it as quick as you can, and because it will disappear quickly. That's the way they are.
And that's okay too.
Well, if we dream 6 or 7 times a night, which seems to be the more recent information about how we sleep and how often we dream. I'm not sure that is as tangible scientifically as some of the scientists want to say, but it looks like the physiology makes it look like that we probably dream 6 or 7 times a night. Well, okay, so that, multiply that by whatever. That's a hell of a lot of dreams over the course of a year or over the course of a week. And if we remember a fragment of one out of these thousands of dreams, that's pretty remarkable. I love to see dreams compared to synchronicities, and synchronicities compared to dreams, is that we have these droplets that happen all the time. And once in a while, we'll notice, and it's like, wow, was that a coincidence or what? How did that happen? How did I run into that person when I was just, and I haven't seen him in 20 years, and I was just thinking of them the other day, and suddenly I run into them. Synchronistic, coincidence, whatever the math says, it doesn't matter. It touches us. Dreams are the same thing. Thousands of dream droplets happen all the time, and we'll remember 1 or 2 or a dozen, and they will help us grow and change and heal. And they want to. That's what I believe about the organicity of life. There is this loving energy that helps us evolve and change and heal, or yearns to. And if we don't pay attention to it, it's at our expense.
I'm glad you mentioned that too, Royce, because even if I don't remember the dreams are still guiding me along and helping me to grow. Even if I don't remember everything about the dream, I think they still work on us, you know, that so
They
it's
thank you. They do.
they still work on us. And so you know, I might wake, you know, the classic is going to sleep with a, you know, seemingly impossible problem. I have no solution for this problem. And then I'm so stressed, and then finally I go to sleep, and maybe I don't remember anything about a dream at all, but I wake up and I have this like sudden inspiration about, oh, now I know what to do. Now I just figured out what to do about this seemingly unsolvable problem. So sometimes I think there's this, the way the psyche works is it just allows us that rebuild time, and the, you know, get it all straight and sort. There's a lot of sorting. I've had a lot of dreams about that, sorting through boxes and sorting papers and sorting things, and then I wake up with a much clearer idea of something. So I think they work on us even if we don't remember consciously.
Even if we don't practice this, I
Yeah.
believe, and I
Yeah.
think evolutionary biologists back this up now, is that all living species have some version of dreaming.
That's right.
And as the evolutionary process from time immemorial, when the first nudge of life began on this planet, that dreams also, some version of
Mm,
dreams, were a part of that coming and becoming to
yes.
and so, you know, I, as I have read, and perhaps the listeners have read too, evolutionary biologists are looking at trees and grass and bees as examples of dreaming beings,
Mm-hmm.
that there is a processing going on inside when there is their own version of sleep happening. And so dreams do serve us, whether or not we remember. They do serve us. And it's our belief that the more we consciously work at remembering, we can tap into that loving service, that evolutionary service that we all are a part of. Because dreams don't come just to torment, or they always come with some version, some inkling of health, healing, and wholeness that's new, that we hadn't thought of before, hadn't
Yeah,
experienced
right.
before.
Yeah, any of us that have dogs, you know, we all see our dogs go, you know, their little paws moving back and forth, and they're twitching. I mean, every dog I've ever had has always had some kind of form of that dream. So yeah, so you think about that, you think, well, there must be some purpose to that. There must be some purpose for the dog to have a dream, and some, who knows what they're, you know, they're probably dreaming about chasing something and whatever. But we know that it's happening, and like you said, so many living creatures show examples of dreaming state. It happens. It's like the fabric that keeps it all together, in my version of it. It's like this collective, as you mentioned, web that's just holding it all together in some way and helping everything to evolve and grow and change. Even the
Mm-hmm.
dogs, even the plants, even and what's that story about there's this algae, this blue algae that, and I don't remember. No, I gotta look this up again because I don't remember who did the research. But the the algae, when it's on top of the pond, you know, has the photosynthesis of the sun, and so it feels the warmth. But at night, it goes down to the lower part of the pond, but it also still can dream as though it were on the top of the pond. And I don't know how they figured this out. Like they had some kind of electrodes that they connected to this, and they could tell that the energy that was happening with this algae was similar to the electrical energy that it had when it's on top of the pond. I don't know where that comes, but I mean, that really blew my mind. I was like, wow, even algae dreams. So, I mean, and I'll look this up because now that I brought it up, I'm going to have to find out more information about it. But pretty fascinating.
And it's a part of its evolution. It's part of its biology that it needs to do that. And it's found a way, however, stuff finds a way to continue to exist and propagate. It has found a way to help its life's energy continue when it needs also to sink to the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
And how and you know, it doesn't mean that it dreams this images that you and I dream.
Right.
That doesn't matter. It dreams the images, if there are images, that blue algae needs to have in order for it to in order for her, he, they to continue to evolve and
Yeah.
live as best as is possible in
Right.
that environment.
Yeah. Wow. Ah, there's a
So
song in there somewhere. Blue algae dreams. There's a song title. Anyway,
that's
sorry.
yeah, definitely a poem title.
Yeah, right.
Blue algae dreams.
Yeah.
So even if when we're not paying attention, dreams are here to help us evolve and learn. And then, but I just find it mind blowing to work on a dream
Mm,
within a group or with another person. It just it's like the learning is exponential in a way.
Mhm.
yeah.
And some people talk about how there's a lot of shadow work that can come up in dreams as well.
Hmm.
And so it's a direct look into our shadow work.
Yeah, that's that
Billy, what do
energy.
you have to say about that?
Me?
Yeah?
Oh, okay. I didn't hear what you said. Well, the shadow holds the very thing I need, and that's what's again paradoxical about it. And I think these paradoxical situations show up so often in order to expand our consciousness. So it's like that thing that it might show up as a person that I don't get along with and gets under my skin and I gets on my last nerve, that kind of thing. And that so this person shows up in my dream and I have to go, well, why? Why my dream can show me anything it wants. It's limitless. So why would they show me this guy, this person that may so I have to look at clearly what is it that irritates me about this person and what energy do they hold that that my psyche wishes to integrate back. So yes, the shadow work is big in dream work, because it helps me to accept all parts of myself, to heal and grow.
And it may be shadow that uh, stops my waking self from remembering a dream. That
Ooh,
that the dream is offering shadow work,
yeah.
and the waking self says, "Not yet, not yet. I don't want to face that because
Yeah.
it's more fun and less threatening to continue to project on this person that bugs the hell out of me,
Right.
rather than look at how might she or he be reminding me of a part of myself. And the
Right.
dream is trying to help me integrate and heal that in me.
Yeah.
And my waking self doesn't want to take responsibility to change.
Yeah. That's it. That's it. Yep.
Yeah,
I think that's why there's like 6 dreams a night that we're not remembering. Like you said, it's very
it's a really
possible
good point.
that the ego part of me is really to just hang on to keep everything the way it is. Keep everything the way it is. It's like now, it's too uncomfortable to have to change. It'd be too much work.
So, this is where I believe dreams have a lot to challenge us about the way our culture has formed and has evolved, and the way our political systems have formed and have evolved, that we love to point fingers at others
Yeah.
in and not own that that's a projection. And I believe the dream is trying to help us find the healing commonality of all of us to work through these waking life crises.
Yeah.
And it's a lot more fun to demonize and
Mm,
to attack and even kill what we consider our enemies. And those enemies are really our shadow side. It doesn't mean we just stand by and say, well, they're our shadow side. We don't challenge. I have to challenge myself and change. And the dream is
Yeah.
inviting that out of me. And at the same time, I will own myself as I challenge the other. And it's hard to walk that. Talk about paradox. It's hard to have the yin and yang and to hold both in our conscious self. And I believe the dream is encouraging us to hold both the light and the dark, the yin and yang of who we are as a species, who we are as individuals.
Yeah. Yes. Well said.
Well, so if you are ready to join a dream group, I highly recommend tuning into wakeuptoyourdreams.com
Thank you.
and
Mhm.
sign up. Billy,
Mhm.
tell us about your offerings at wakeuptoyourdreams.com.
Well, a couple of things. Some of the stuff we've talked about today, the DreamWork Toolkit and tips on how to remember your dreams are available under resources. There's a menu bar at the top, so under resources, you can get both of those items. I offer 2 dream groups throughout the, they meet 4 times a month, but there's a group that meets 2 Thursdays afternoons, and then there's a group that meets 2 Wednesday evenings. So look at the calendar also on my website. And I also help people learn how to become dream workers themselves through the Rocky Mountain Institute of Projective Dreamwork.
And you also offer one-on-one coachings as well.
That's right. Thank you. It's all available there.
And
And
royspitz.com.
yes, I want to affirm this about Billy. Her dream groups online are wonderful, wonderful,
Thank you.
and I love joining them. And the whole process of being a part of a community is enriching, as Viviana talks about it. It's just so amazing to be in the company of other people who are working on dreams, and how we heal and become more wise as individuals and as groups. Yes, Viviana, roycefitz.com. I'm spiritual counselor and dream worker. And I have, as you probably can pick up, lots of passion about both. I feel like they are weaving together to explore how we can have more functional relationships with each other, more joy with each other, how to look at trauma in our past, and how the dream and how deep consultation can help move and nudge us towards more wholeness and more healing, and to be change agents in a very wounded world. So I invite you to look for the dream tips on my I have one of my pages is called tips, trips, etc., or something about his rambling list of dream of hints on how to remember dreams and what are the wisdoms within dreams. So it's kind of a fun random list, and I invite people to go look at that and give me a call. I have a standard 30-minute, no obligation, free consultation that we can have to explore the possibilities of working together and moving towards health and wholeness.
And if you, the listener, have a dream that you would like to share with us, we invite you to call our Dreamer hotline, which is 720-573-9195. Again, the number is 720-573-9195. We are the Healing Dreams.
Just a second, too. You have helped us to be on Instagram and on I'm not on Facebook yet, but social media is important to Billy and to Viviana and to me. And so I think we need to mention that people can find us out there on that, including TikTok.
I was getting to all of that.
Oh, well, sorry.
Well, you mentioned it. Healing
Yay.
Dreams Project podcast is available all over iHeartRadio, Pandora, YouTube, Spotify, also TikTok and Instagram. We each have our own accounts, and also the Healing Dreams Project has its own account as well. I'm Viviana. I'm the producer, and I can be reached at viviana.org, viviana.org. I am a musician primarily, but I do love the language, all languages, language of music, stories, symbols, metaphors, archetypes, myths, you name it. I'm just, and especially dreams. I'm just enamored with this dream work.
Mhm.
So I think that concludes our episode. Thank you for joining us,
Thanks.
and until the next time, happy dreaming.